Hi everybody! Today I have a new technique that I want to share with you for candle magic, where you can take a lowly little birthday candle and turn it into an absolute magical powerhouse. You're going to want to know this technique, whether you're new to magic or even doing it for a long time. This is one I think you're really going to appreciate. Stick around to the end and I will walk you through doing an actual spell using my powerhouse technique and birthday candles. I'm Mickie Mueller. Welcome to my studio. Thanks for joining me in my enchanted studio. I'm Mickie Mueller, author, illustrator, and witchy woman. I bring you new videos once a week with spells, witchy tips, and tricks for living your magical life. Candle magic. When you think about it, it's probably the first magic that you've ever done. When you were a little kid, every year on the day of your birth, they would light a bunch of these and put them on your cake. And they would all sing a song and make you super embarrassed. And then you were called upon to perform a special kind of candle magic. You remember, right? Make a wish and blow out the candle. So when you think about it like that, candle magic goes way back for all of us. We've been doing it since we were little kids. Now the method that I'm going to show you today is not about blowing out candles and making wishes. This is a new use for birthday candles with candle magic. And it turns a small little birthday candle into a super magical powerhouse. You might wonder, how can that possibly work? Because we think of this as being a magical powerhouse, not this. This candle is going to burn for a really long time. And this candle, I timed it out. These burn for about 20 minutes. For those of you who are new to magic, I'm just going to give you a really brief overview of how we generally do candle magic, okay? Most of the time, we're going to take a big candle like this, perhaps one of these 7-day candles. These little chime candles are super popular. And honestly, one of my go-tos is the little tea light candles in the little tins that we love. All of these candles use a very similar technique, and candle magic is really kind of a staple of witchcraft. I am actually going to do another video where I will go deeper into methods for using all of these different kinds of candles. But today, of course, I want to focus on my birthday candle powerhouse technique. In order to do that, I want to show you the difference between how we work a candle magic technique that we are used to using, these larger candles, and the way that we work a birthday candle. So generally speaking, for candle magic, okay, we would grab our candle like this. It's fuel for fire and fuel for magic. Use something sharp to inscribe whatever you want, like your goal on the candle. A lot of people do that when they work their candles. You don't have to. There's all different ways that people charge these little candles. A lot of people will anoint the candle with oil. A lot of times after people have anointed a candle like that in oil, they will also perhaps roll it in herbs, and the herbs will stick on the candle, and that adds yet another layer of intention. We would hold the candle in our hands and push our intention into that candle before we ever light it. And there isn't one right or wrong way to do it. There's a million different ways to perform candle magic spells, or any kind of spells for that matter, depending on the witch. We all have our own different ways of doing things. So when I talk about these ways of charging a candle, these are very general, okay? And then the next thing that we do, we pop it into a little candle holder like this. We set it up in a spot. We surround it with other items to add energy to it, depending on your magical intention, things that other correspondences. And then generally speaking, we light the candle, we focus our intention on the flame, and we probably have an incantation that we would repeat several times to charge up the candle. And then we generally leave that candle burning on our altar, inside of a cauldron where it's protected, wherever we decide to leave it going. And we leave that candle burning, and we walk away and go do our other things, right? And this is the way that I do candle magic all the time. That's really classic candle magic technique. It's the way that we would work a big pillar candle like this as well. And a 7-day candle, also very similar. You can draw designs on the glass. You can print out a design and put it on the glass. This is a candle label that you could color. And I actually have talked about this in one of my other videos. And this is from the this year's Llewellyn's Magical Almanac. This is a design that I did and wrote the spell for. And same thing goes with these little tea light candles. These are great. You can actually lift the candle. Ooh, or can you? Okay. You can actually lift the candle out of the little tin and put a little petition down in the bottom of that. You can dress these with oil. You can sprinkle them with herbs. You hold them in your hand. You charge them with your intent. Then we just set it down and we let it go. And we walk away and we go do something else. These burn in 4 hours. So unless you had 4 hours to spend focusing on a candle, you would want to use my Powerhouse technique using one of these either. What you really need is a birthday candle. Okay, so here's how my birthday candle Powerhouse technique differs from how we normally use candle magic. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you how this technique works, and then I'm going to show you by working through so that you can actually see it in action. Anyone who's interested, you can find an article that I wrote about it in the Llewellyn's 2016 Magical Almanac. This one came out a few years ago, so you probably can't get a copy new. You can usually find used copies of these on Amazon or any place that sells used books. And I also created the illustrations. And there's another one. And there's one more. And I actually wrote several spells using this technique in the article that's in this almanac. But I will tell you the technique in a nutshell. So while our other candles are charge, 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 light the candle, focus your energy, do the incantation, and then let the candle burn out. As we know, this is a very, very common technique that's used for candle magic. My birthday candle Powerhouse technique works a little bit differently. The idea is that even though we have a tiny, tiny candle here, you can do the same things that you do with your other candles. If you want to anoint this bad boy with some oil, you can definitely do that. Hold it and focus your intention into this candle. And it's kind of neat because it's quite small. This part of the technique remains the same. This is one of those swirly kind of candles. You can't really inscribe this. But if you have one that's smooth and you have a very small pin, you can definitely inscribe this candle if you wish to. But inscribing the candle is not necessary. You can roll these in the herbs of your choice. So these are all the same things that you can do. The difference comes in with what happens once we have lit this candle. Nobody I know these days has the time to spend charging a candle flame, the actual flame itself, and giving that flame life and charging it throughout the life of the candle. It's just too much for us. That's why we do candle magic the way we do. We charge, 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 light it, and let it go. With this birthday candle technique, these burn for 20 minutes. If you can manage to focus your energy watching this video for 20 minutes, I guarantee you can focus your energy on a birthday candle for 20 minutes. And the idea is, from the moment that you light that flame, you've given that flame life. Rather than just charging the candle itself, rather than just anointing the candle and rolling it in herbs, you are going to focus your energy on that candle flame for the entire life of the candle. From the moment that you light it, that you spark that flame to life, until that candle burns down and there's nothing left but a tiny wisp of smoke rising up. Can you imagine the kind of power that you can generate when you focus your magical energy into the entire life of a candle, not just that moment when you light it, not just that time when you spend charging it, but for the life of that candle from beginning to end. And that is why this tiny little birthday candle can become a magical powerhouse if you use this technique. I've tried it. Before I wrote the article, I came up with the idea and I thought, hey, this is something really cool. And I haven't seen anybody do it. Although I know lots of people have used birthday candles in their spells, but I thought to myself, I don't think anybody has thought to spend that entire flame with their focus pounding into that flame. And I thought, this is a great technique. This is something new. It's innovative. It's different. Of course, I decided to experiment with it. And let me just say, this technique manifests stuff really quickly. This is what I have found, is that if you can focus your energy on that candle for the entire time that it's burning, man, you can get some quick manifestation out of something like this. And there's no shame in using a birthday candle, especially if it can help you achieve your goals. So who cares? Anybody who wants to make fun of me for using birthday candles in my magic, bring it. I'm fine with that. I don't care, because guess what? It works. It freaking works. So that is why I wanted to share this technique with you guys today. Another neat thing about the birthday candle magic trick is you can take quite a bit of magic with you on the road. I mean, this little tin holds all of these candles. And yeah, I've got a lot of black and a lot of white. I'm running out of some of my colors. I really need to restock. All of your candle correspondences that you're used to working with, okay, work the same way with your birthday candles. And I'm not going to go into it in this video because it would just take too long. But I will put my candle correspondences that I had in the article, I will put them down below so that for people who are new, you can see what the color correspondences are for using the different candles. If a different candle color calls to you, definitely use that. You know, if my candle correspondence says use a green candle for money magic, and all you have is a yellow candle, and you're like, well, that looks close enough to me, that's kind of golden colored, and you want to use that for your prosperity spell, feel free. With candle magic, your white candle is your all-purpose candle. If a candle spell that you're looking at calls for a purple candle and you don't have a purple candle, don't worry about it. White is a great substitute for all the candle colors. Now some, as you'll notice, some birthday candles have completely different colors than what you're used to. I mean, there's no spell candle that I know of that has white and yellow stripes. When you're using one of these stripy candles, okay, you combine the color correspondence of white candles plus the color. So in this instance, creativity, joy, concentration, things like that, you would use this little yellow candle for, and then you add the correspondent of white to it, which is a balance of all color, truth-seeking, and spiritual enlightenment. Using one of these little, as I like to call them, peppermint stripe candles for your spell work uses the regular color correspondence and also adds kind of a boost of your higher power, your higher spiritual energy will come through when you're using the white and the yellow together, or the white and any other color together. This is another kind of birthday candle that you'll see a lot in the stores when you go looking at birthday candles. And these are the little white with the polka dots on them. And again, we're bringing in the color correspondence of both colors. But to me, the polka dot pattern, it just brings an element of joy in. So no matter what spell you're working, is going to be the combination of the white, and in this instance, the blue. It will bring in the correspondence of both of those colors, and it adds an element of joy because the polka dots are just way fun. So yeah, these are my spell working birthday candles, and they all fit in this nice little tin, so that's pretty handy. Now there's another kind of candle that you can use for this technique that I hadn't thought of when I wrote the article. Rainbow glow candles. And the neat thing about these is the flame is actually the color of the candle. So they're different, the flames are different colors. The purple candle is purple, the green flame is green. And that just adds another extra element of just excitement to this candle magic spell. The things that they add to these candles to make the flames different colors are generally mineral salts. And while it looks really cool, you can also look up what different elements they're using for different colored flames to make them that color, and maybe even add those correspondences in with your candle magic spell. For instance, this green one, which I'm going to be working today, they generally use copper. Let's see, I looked it up and I hope I can remember it. Copper sulfate, I think. I think it's copper sulfate that they add to these candles to make the color in the colored flame. And copper is a metal that's associated with mercury, and it's also associated with sending energies. So I feel like copper is a really cool correspondence that I can add to my magic spell. So there's another thing to think about when using these little candles. Candle holder, what are you going to do about that, right? Just use your regular candle holder, and this is a candle holder that was designed to use for those little chime candles. And you just grab your lovely sea salt, and let's see if I can do this without spilling it all over the place. And just, oh, my salt's all, much problems. My salt's all caked up. There. There. And as you can see, that is filled now with sea salt. And then you just pop that down in there, and that will work. That will hold it up long enough for you to do your spell. If you don't have a small candle holder like that, a thimble works great too. I have a thimble, it's downstairs, you know the routine. I'm not going to get it. Again, for those of you who are new at candle magic, I'm going to show you a trick, okay, to staring at your candle flame. There are a lot of spells that require you to focus on the flame of the candle, and what I'm going to tell you is this. There's a certain part of the flame that you want to stare at, okay? Basically, where you're staring is the bottom of... the wax is getting me. You want to stare at the bottom of the flame down here. You don't want to be staring up here at this part, because all that's going to do is make your eyes hurt, okay? If you stare at the blue part, you know, the bottom part down here, basically the very bottom of that flame, that's where you want to be focusing your energy for a couple of reasons. One reason, and to me, the first and foremost reason, is it's a heck of a lot easier on your eyes, okay? The other reason is because the bottom part of that flame, that is where all the energy is coming from. That is where the flame is actually consuming the candle. That's the part that you want to focus on and be pushing your energy into, that part of the flame, because that's where all of the molecular energy things are happening, where the flame is actually burning down and converting that wax into heat and energy. That's where you want to focus. So don't look at the top part, the brightest part. Ooh, it just will hurt your eyes. And ooh, don't hold it in your hand like this, because the wax is really hot. I mean, unless you're into that, but I don't judge. Okay, there's one more thing that I want to tell you about this Powerhouse technique before I get down to showing you how to do it, okay? The incantation that you use is super important because you're going to be chanting this incantation the whole time that your candle is burning. That means probably about 20 minutes. And you don't want a big, long, drawn-out incantation that you have to read off a sheet. What you want is a bare bones, down and dirty, really short incantation. Generally, a couplet is pretty good. Even a couple of words is great. You want something that you can keep in your head, that you don't have to write down. You can basically, the idea is you should be able to read this incantation through a couple of times and be able to commit it to memory so that you can stare at the flame the entire time that that candle is burning. Okay, I don't think I've forgotten anything else that I wanted to tell you about this technique. Essentially, that is all you do. Treat the candle as you normally do. Cleanse it, charge it. Feel free to anoint it with oil if you want to. You don't have to. You can surround it with other corresponding things to your purpose if you want to. You don't have to. The only difference is, instead of lighting the flame and going about your business, you are going to focus all of your energy into that candle flame. You're going to charge it with an incantation that's very few words. The thing that I noticed as I worked this technique is as you say the chant, it's kind of interesting the thing that happens to the sounds of the words. Much in the way that we take a sigil when we do sigil magic and we break down a sentence of what we want to achieve, and we break it down into individual letters, and then we get rid of the duplicate letters, the few letters, and then we form them into a symbol so that it's a symbol of that whole sentence that we started out with. This is kind of a verbal version of that, because as you repeat that very brief incantation over and over and over in your spell, as you're staring at that and you're doing it for 20 minutes at a time, the words kind of take on a really interesting quality, almost a sing-songy quality. They almost become a song as you repeat it over and over from the inflection of your voice. And the words kind of stop meaning anything because you've said them so many times. And when you repeat them over and over and over, they turn into pure energy. Instead of you focusing on the meaning of the words, it transforms into just the energy of what you want to accomplish. And it's actually a really cool kind of meditative spell that you can do. Try to do it in a place where you won't be disturbed for about 20 minutes. And that's about it. I'm going to do this as a time lapse for you. First, I'm going to show you in real time how I set it all up. So let's do that. This one that I'm going to do right now is one that is literally right out of this. I already had the incantation written, so I was like, might as well just go ahead and do one that I already have written. Just to make it a little extra fun, you guys, I'm going to use one of the candles with the colored flames because that is just badass. So we're going to do that. The first thing I'm going to do is drop my candle, so that'll happen. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to light some incense. And this is just some good fortune incense that I got from Peace of Mind up the street. It's a really great little shop that I like. To me, that seems like the perfect incense to use right now. I like to use scent, any kind of sacred smoke, because it kind of soothes me and it puts me in the right frame of mind for doing ritual. Fills my area with sacred smoke, and I like that. The first thing I'm going to do is I want to cleanse and purify everything that I'm using. I've just got a piece of malachite, I've got a couple of venturine, and I've got some coins that my friend Sandy brought back from her trip to the UK and gifted to me. So I've been using these in a lot of prosperity magic because as I talked about with her, she was full of gratitude during that trip and just had a wonderful time. And these are just filled with so much joy that I feel like they've got to bring good things, right? So I'm just going to cleanse and purify each one of these. Smoke from the incense. going to charge these all together for my intent. I'm going to hold these in my hand, and as I do, I'm going to picture them being kind of like a magnet to draw in abundance into my life. And I kind of will hear kind of a cha-ching sound in my head. I like to bring all of those things in. I will feel the feeling of looking at my bank account and feeling happy and relaxed, knowing that I have all the money I need to accomplish my goals. Okay, that's beautiful. So I'm just going to lay those out. You don't have to have all of these things. You can use whatever you have, you know. If you have an oak tree in your yard, use an acorn. You can use just quarters. You can use basil leaves. You can use whatever you want. I happen to have basil. And I intended to anoint this and roll it in the basil, and I left my oil downstairs, you know. So we're not going to worry about that, but I do want to include basil in this spell, so I'm just going to simply sprinkle it right around here. And you don't have to do this, but you can. And yes, this is just basil out of my kitchen because I am a damn kitchen witch, baby. All right. Now, I'm going to charge this candle. And I'm going to do the same thing as I charge this candle that I did with those. I'm going to envision this candle drawing in abundance and wealth so that all my needs are met, and a little left over for a fancy treat. Because we all deserve a fancy treat, don't we? We do. Okay. All right, I'm popping that right down in here like that. Make sure it's good and stable. All right. I use a lighter to light my candles and my incense and everything. For those of you who don't feel like you want to use a lighter, you can use your matches if you want. You can rub 2 sticks together, whatever makes you happy. This is just how I do it. You don't have to do it how I do it. This is my technique. So really quick, before I light the candle though, I want to make sure that I have this incantation in my head. I wrote this down out of the book, and there it is. And I will put that also in the description below, so that if you want to duplicate this spell, you certainly can. I'm not doing anything with this other than using it for memorization purposes. I need money, make it fast, owe to earn, check or cash. And I will repeat this to myself a few times before I begin the spell, because I want to make sure that I've got it in my head, okay? I need money, make it fast, owe to earn, check or cash. I need money, make it fast, owe to earn, check or cash. I need money, make it fast, owe to earn, check it cash. All right, I think I've got it. I'll set it right there so that it's in my periphery. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to light the candle, and I'm going to repeat that over and over and over through the entire life of the flame. From the moment that it's lit, the flame is born. The flame lives as it burns down the candle, and the entire time I will be charging that flame with my intention until the moment that it goes out. The moment that I see that candle flame begin to go out, I will complete the spell by saying, "As I will it, with harm to none, so mote it be." And that is about the moment when the flame turns into smoke. And then the spell is complete. This is a super cool, powerful way to do a spell, you guys. I hope that you get an opportunity to try it. So I'm going to reposition this so that you can see me, what I'm doing as I'm lighting this candle and working this candle. I am going to do it on time lapse because nobody wants to watch me chant this over and over for 20 minutes. The only person who really wants to do that is me. Candle burnt all the way out. And I managed to keep chanting through the whole thing. So that is my birthday candle powerhouse technique. It's pretty cool stuff. I should be hearing from somebody soon with an art job or some money coming my way, opportunity to earn some money, or perhaps somebody who owed me money who will be like, oh, here, I owed you this money, and I totally forgot about it, and I'll be like, yay, money coming my way, since that was the purpose of that spell. I hope that you guys enjoyed this method. Feel free to use it. I hope that it serves you well. It's always good to have a new method in your toolbox or your witchy candle box, as it were. Reciting that incantation over and over, you might want to have some water nearby. One of the other things that I did forget to mention that I will tell you now is and it occurred to me as I was doing the incantation, I was like, ooh, I need to tell them that, is as you're chanting, you want to be careful not to blow out the candle with your breath. You don't have to do it loudly. You can do it very softly as a whisper, which is generally how I do it. My whole time practicing magic, I've been a mom, and I kind of, my kids are doing their homework or they're sleeping or something, and while they knew I was a witch, I don't really necessarily want to wake them up with chanting loud incantations for the whole house to hear. So I'm generally quiet under my breath. It's all about your focus. That's what's key and what's important. You don't have to wake the whole house to do this. All I'm going to say is, as you're doing that incantation, don't forget to breathe. I don't need you guys passing out on me, okay? So yeah, now you have a new way to work some quick candle magic. And when you need something fast, this is a great thing that works. And it's really inexpensive to stock up on all your candle colors if you do it this way. Am I still going to be working these big old candles? You bet I am. But it's always nice to have options, and that's what this is all about, is having options. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button and let me know. Also, while you're here, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and ring that bell. I'm going to be doing a book giveaway soon. If you hit the subscribe button, then you'll know when my next video is posted. Well, thanks again for joining me, and remember, as always, to be your magic. Bye, everybody. Long enough for you to do your spell.